So I want to do a few short pieces for philosophy of religion and for the religious studies A-level syllabuses over the next few months, and these will support you as you are doing your work. They'll all be about 5 minutes long, so they won't be a great effort, but they will have all the information, some of it on the board behind me, along with some pictures to entertain and also to impress the idea of who these various people might be. Now, today's is about scepticism, and particularly to counter something that I read in an essay over the summer, that Descartes was a skeptic. Simply not true. Descartes was not a skeptic, though he did use skeptical ideas to defend the idea that religion and philosophy can support one another. This is an old medieval and old scholastic idea, the sort of thing that Thomas Aquinas would have put forward. It in fact comes from Muslim thought, from Islamic thought. Hume and Descartes, both using scepticism. Descartes, 17th century, Hume, 18th century. Cartesian doubt might be called methodological scepticism. Descartes starts with belief, and he wants to prove that belief is true. Hume, in contrast, starts with disbelief. And in fact, he was suspected of being an atheist at a time when atheism would have been a death sentence. Indeed, there's a rather nice story of how Hume fell into a bog, and he was calling for help from this bog, and an old woman came along and says, "Oh, Mr. Hume, I'll only help you if you say the Lord's Prayer." And Hume says the Lord's Prayer, and later he says, this woman was the greatest theologian that he had ever met. She really proves the existence of God. Now, both Hume and Descartes would say that knowledge must have a foundation. Descartes' foundation is doubt, and he doubts everything. Hume questions that. Hume is more moderate in his doubt. In fact, he calls Descartes' doubt antecedent skepticism, and he says that's pointless. But moderate skepticism, Hume's position, is about what Hume would say proper impartiality. Now, skepticism goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks. One of the greatest skeptics was a man called Gorgias, who features as a character in Plato's Republic. He's also got his own dialogue. Gorgias would say that nothing exists, and so we can know nothing. There's another man, Cratylus. Cratylus says that everything changes, so we can have no certainty. We cannot even converse credibly. We cannot hold conversations. I'm not sure Gorgias is in the Republic. Anyway, we'd have to check that. Carneades said that we should suspend our judgment. Judgment, wonderful Greek word here, epochi, from which we get the English word epoch. We should suspend our judgment in order to preserve our sanity and our tranquility. Tranquility, ataraxia. These were members of the Pyrrho school, the school founded by Pyrrho, sometimes known as the Pyrrhonian school. Now, skepticism sort of dies over a period of time, and in the Renaissance it's revived. We get a particularly interesting example in Gassendi. Gassendi was a priest, but Gassendi was actually attacking a fascinating man called Robert Fludd, who effectively believed in magic. Fludd would have been at home in Harry Potter's universe. But Gassendi was also, in fact, questioning the importance, the dominance of Aristotle in late medieval, early Renaissance thought. He wanted more free thinking. It's about the power of philosophy over faith. Gassendi was actually saying that faith is more important than philosophy. Descartes argues, in a sense, in a slightly different way. Descartes uses skepticism to prove that philosophy is as important as faith. But Hume is doing something quite different. Hume is an empiricist. All genuine ideas go back to sense impressions. There's no good reason for Hume for belief in God, self, or our soul. Hume says philosophy would render us Pyrrhonian were not nature too strong for us. So our only evidence for anything is nature, is what we see around us. Kant says that we cannot know God, morality, and so on. But our moral awareness makes it reasonable for us to believe in them. So Kant, in fact, is a sort of a modern-day version of Carneades. There we are. First lesson. Thank you. This is Tim.